First of all, I would like to thank ET, Accenture, and all other partners for having put together this day-long event. As Honorable Minister said, this is something happening at a very right moment because there is definitely lots of excitement about the contribution that GCCs are making, more so in a city of ours like Hyderabad. But this is also the right time to take stock on what we have done well, what is it that we need to do better, and how would the future roll out in the coming, let us say, 5 years, 10 years or so. So, Honorable Minister has given the overall vision of where he wants Telangana to be positioned, where he wants Hyderabad to be positioned in the future. I'll share some bits about how will that vision be translated into action, what kind of understanding do we have today of the requirements of GCC, of their expectations from the ecosystem, particularly from the government. So I have been involved in interacting with companies who are looking to set up GCCs at a very early stage when they are still considering India as a possible option. Sometimes after they have considered India as a confirmed option, which city really to ground their GCC? Will Hyderabad be the best, or are there other competing cities also to consider? And of course, sometimes at a much later stage when the decision has been taken, but the kind of the nitty-gritties have to be worked out. And of course, on many occasions when formal openings are happening, ribbon cuttings are happening, global leadership has come from outside. And on more pleasant occasions when they are celebrating their anniversaries or some other special occasion. So I've seen a lot happening in the GCC world from a very close quarters. The kind of experience I have gained, if you had asked a KPMG or a NASSCOM to share with you, they would have charged a bomb. But I'll be happy to share it absolutely free of cost. So, of course, there are some very interesting observations on how this whole decision making happen. And as I speak, it's not really an exaggeration if I mention this to you, that literally no week passes that we do not get some new proposal or some new lead or some new deal about the GCCs. Right now, I'm in the middle of actually, hopefully, concluding 3 very, very important GCCs, which one of them, which is likely to be announced in March, will be really earth-shattering for the country. So the experiences are like this. One is, obviously, while everyone else may say that cost arbitrage is not very important, but that is a factor. May not be the most important factor, but definitely the fact that resources are available at a lower cost, the infrastructure is available at a lower cost, the day-to-day operating costs are lower, definitely is a factor, and it is diminishing. The importance of this factor is diminishing, but I don't foresee a time when it will absolutely become zero. What matters more is that at this cost point, at this lower cost point, you are able to get high quality talent, and these two need to be seen together. The availability of high quality talent, but it is coming at a lower cost. But there are certain other things also which people look up to, and one is of course the ability of that talent to work in a very disciplined manner, be sensitive towards deliverables, be sensitive towards timelines, because the GCCs have in Hyderabad, as many of us know, American companies have discovered us big time. I mean, the Minister mentioned about 350 odd GCCs. And if you actually disaggregate, if you take stock, you will realize that 80% plus are American companies. So obviously the parent company in the US is used to a particular work culture, is used to employees delivering, are used to employees showing responsibility, and so on and so forth. And that is something which is also expected. And I remember 10 years ago, this used to be a very big concern, whether employees have that drive, that motivation, etc., because for some reasons, the perception about India in general Of course, it has changed drastically and dramatically, but about a decade ago, the perception was not that rosy, and this used to be a concern. But I'm happy to notice this, that during COVID and post COVID, this perception has changed drastically. In fact, particularly about Hyderabad, I'm not very aware about how people see talent in other cities, but definitely about the talent in Hyderabad, there is a huge appreciation now, and companies have seen for themselves during COVID, as some of you will recall, in the years 2020, 2021, little bit of 2022 also. Lockdowns were happening all over the place. Companies were getting shut down. That is, offices were getting shut down rather. And in our state and in our city, government had taken a very balanced view. We had done a risk analysis, and we had felt that IT zone is not the place. This enclave, as we all know, this is called Cyberabad. Cyberabad is not the place where large number of cases are coming. So if people are okay to come and work, the government will not force them to close down. And therefore, many offices remained open during lockdown periods as well. And many global companies would have realized that Hyderabad is one center which is up and running. More and more work was obviously given to them. And normally there'll be a pushback. If more work is given to anyone, there will be some feeling, why me? And so on. But companies recognize that the fact that when more work was given to people in Hyderabad, people took it as a challenge. Companies in trouble, they are looking up to me to stand up, let me take that responsibility. And therefore, this is something which is, and word of mouth has spread. And I can share this with you. Companies have really reciprocated big time when they realize that this is what Hyderabad can offer. I don't want to name a company, but I can mention this to you. This company started their activity in Hyderabad, their GCC, during the peak of COVID. They began by recruiting 250 people, and those 250 people worked hard, delivered, and the company was so appreciative of this that 250 in no time became 2,500. And the CEO of this company was here about a year ago, and he told us that he's so enamored, he's so happy with Hyderabad that he will double it again in another 2 years' time. So what began in 250 has already risen to 2,500. It's 3,000 now, and will become 5,000 in a short while from now. And of course, he did not say so very openly, but he did imply that he will be closing down many of his offices in Hyderabad, and all that work will be shifted to her. I mean, he'll be closing down many of his offices in the US, and work will be shifted here. So it's also very important not to name that company. I mean, he may get arrested by President Trump, or if not President Trump, at least Elon Musk will come after him. So please don't ask me who they are, but they are a very important F&B company from the US. Let us tell at least this much. So this is something which is very important. But how do you then keep the talent motivated? How do you ensure that the company environment is stimulating, people are valued? So many of you would know that at least till a decade ago or about 15 years ago, Hyderabad was seen more as a services location. I mean, if you want people, just go to Hyderabad. Hundreds of them will be roaming around, just grab them. So it was just a matter of filling seats, filling numbers, and employees also used to find this whole experience very demotivating. They're just seen as numbers. Many of you know, and I still joke about it, that in many IT companies even now, particularly the services companies, employees are seen or measured or valued only on one parameter, and that parameter is called billing. How much money are you actually getting for the company? And beyond billing, the person has no value. So these things also need to culturally change. I mean, billing may be important for sure. You are not here to make losses or something, but look at the employee in totality. How do you add value to his time that he's giving to the company, and so on and so forth. So GCCs, fortunately, they bring that culture into their operations. That has created some positive impact over the rest of the industry also. This attitude to see employee just as a number or as a billing. Earlier, I have been in this job for more than 10 years now. Many times I used to go to IT association events and all that. And the kind of conversation which would take place, and I would get some fleeting sense of that conversation, that HR used to be the most dreaded vertical in that company. I mean, the HR people were seen as demons, were seen as people who can potentially damage you or perpetually leave a kind of a black hole in your soul kind of people. But things have changed now. People now, I mean, know that HR is something which can contribute to your growth, your learning, your development. So cultural shift is very important, and we are very keen to work with IT associations. Some of you would know, and again, I should give credit to Honorable Minister. He's the one who has kind of given us this direction that let us organize consortiums for different verticals of GCC. So there is a BFSI consortium, more than 70 BFSI companies. I'm sure many of you would be here. Gunjan possibly has left. But all these BFSI companies who are in Hyderabad, they have their own BFSI consortium. We have created a life sciences consortium, and there are 8 other verticals for whom we are interested to promote similar kind of verticals. Media and entertainment is growing, FMCG is growing, mobility is growing, and there are various other sectors also where we feel that organizing the industry together is something very useful. We know that while Hyderabad has become the most preferred city because of talent, the quality of talent, low attrition, the value proposition on infrastructure, the innovation ecosystem that we offer, these kind of facilities that we are creating. We have consortiums, we have multiple forums through which we listen to the GCCs, we respond to their issues. But we also know that we can't really rest on our laurels. We cannot be complacent. There are lots of feedback that we get which point us to the direction which we need to take. While attrition levels are low as compared to, let us say, Bangalore, at the end of it, it is eventually a Hyderabad versus Bangalore choice for many companies. Our attritions are lower than Bangalore, but still in many of the verticals, for example, life sciences vertical, I don't know, there could be some life sciences leaders here. The attrition rates are still higher than what they are used to, let us say, in the US or elsewhere. We are working on it. One of the advantage of having this consortium is that it, in some ways, it has a tangential impact on attrition. I can tell you this about the BFSI industry. When the consortium was created, the purpose was very different, that they will tell us about the skilling gaps, they will tell us about infrastructure, they will tell us about some policy reforms they expect from Government of India, they want us to do advocacy. All that was happening, but we realized that it also created a big impact on attrition, because in the initial stages, at least in the first part of the formation of the consortium leaders were meeting very frequently, literally every week, every 10 days, every fortnight. All the 70 odd industry leaders will get together. And then people started realizing that if I have to take someone from their office, it will not look good if I see them the next day and pretend that everything is normal. So over a period of time, they have come to some kind of a gentleman's pact that if I'm making an offer to someone who is working for you, unless you give me the green signal, I will not make that offer. So this unhealthy tendency, what we call as poaching, that I just steal someone, I throw some 20,000 rupees at him, he jumps here, someone else throws 40,000, he jumps there. All that is gradually diminishing in the BFSI sector, because you can't look up to the other person in his eyes knowing that I have poached his vice president yesterday, or I've done something else the day before. So this is something which has happened in a very positive way. We never expected that this will also be an area where a positive consequence will be seen. So that is one of the reasons now that we are keen that every other sector also develops some kind of norms on how do you recruit, how do you kind of not do something which is considered unhealthy, and so on and so forth. There is also a concern about quality of talent that we are getting in Hyderabad. Many people have pointed this to us, that there is a big gulf between the top colleges. Let us say we have the IIT, we have the Triple IT, we have the BITS, and the colleges which are considered to be the next level and the next level. There's definitely a gap. And we all know that students are bright, whether they are studying in the IIT, it's just a matter of chance that they could not crack the JEE and they're in some other college. But there is a lot which can be done by improving the quality of the faculty. If you conduct regular faculty development programs, if you expose the faculty, and guide them about better teaching methodology, teaching pedagogy, and so on and so forth. So since last 1 year, we have started working on FDP, faculty development programs. We have an institution called TASK, Telangana Academy for Skills and Knowledge. Earlier, it used to give more time, majority of its time, in designing curriculum for students, which can be done as add-on modules. But off late, they have started focusing more on improving the quality of faculty, so that students, we all know that online courses have become much more common, much more popular. So students can learn curriculum from elsewhere as well. But the classroom interaction should be such so that your curiosity is enhanced, you are able to do self learning, the faculty is able to motivate you. So this is again something, the results will take a while to be evident, but we have at least started this kind of a foundational work. So I'm very confident that in days to come, this gap between the IITs and triple ITs and the next level colleges will not be that stark. Of course, a second tier college can never match an IIT, so some difference will be there, but definitely not so stark. One other area where we are getting lots of feedback is about infrastructure, particularly in the Cyberabad area, where most of the companies are located. Minister mentioned that 1,500 IT companies are located in Telangana. Again, 90% plus are in this enclave called Cyberabad, which adds to its own kind of challenges. So one is, of course, that we are working on adding some new features of infrastructure in this area, but a different strategy, and a strategy which has worked elsewhere, is to create other IT hubs elsewhere. So Minister spoke about the AI city. You will possibly be aware that the AI city is located not in Cyberabad or anywhere close by. It is located close to the airport now. And we are confident that that area tomorrow will become the new kind of a cyber hub, something like Cyberabad. Similarly, there are attempts to promote plug and play facility. The government will build them actually in other parts of Hyderabad. So for example, there is an area which is called Medchal. Many of you will not know this, but if you actually take a head count of your staff, you will find that many of the people come from roughly from that area and commute all the way for work here. So we have decided to set up a plug and play facility, a very large plug and play facility, which will be offered at very, very nominal kind of rentals, so that you will be able to kind of decentralize some part of your work, which is not very critical, not very high end. One more plug and play facility is coming up at a place called Malakpet, which again which has a large catchment of working professionals, particularly from areas like LB Nagar, Dilsukh Nagar, Malakpet. Again, many of you will not know all these geographical nuances about Hyderabad, but if you ask people in your office, many of them would be commuting from that part of the world. So again, a large plug and play facility will be built, which will be offered to offices for very, very nominal kind of rentals. So these are some of the ways in which the advantage that Hyderabad has maintained over the last few years. Numbers clearly show, if you check with KPMG or NASSCOM or Accenture or anyone else who tracks the movement of GCCs, in last 3 years, continuously, year after year after year, more number of GCs came to Hyderabad, and as compared to any other city in the country. So that is something we feel very happy about. And as I said, the momentum remains very strong. The other story which is not spoken that much is what is happening to the existing GCCs. And I'm sure all of you who run existing GCCs will testify to this, that all of them have significantly improved headcount. I gave the example of a company from 250, it has gone to 5,000. But this is not a isolated case. There are many, many such companies whose expansion has been in the magnitudes of 5x, 8x, 10x, and so on and so forth. And the other important thing is, again, as I said, I regularly visit GCC offices, interact with them. Something else which is very, very heartening is to see how the quality of work has also changed. And this is something which was captured by Gunjan also in his presentation, that earlier generation of GCCs were only looking at India for low-end kind of work, but lots of innovation, lots of new development of products, etc., is happening from the GCCs. And this is the confidence Indian GCs are able to create to their parent organizations, that whatever is the nature of work, India is the best place to deliver. And obviously, since they are in Hyderabad, this is the word which is spread out, that the action is really happening in Hyderabad. So I once again kind of thank ET for organizing this event, getting so many GCC leaders in this one hall. And as I mentioned right at the beginning, the minister outlined the vision, and he also he appealed to everyone, partner with us. If there are something that you are still feeling is missing in Hyderabad, for which we can do something, we can intervene and make that happen for you. We'll be very happy to do so. We are just a text message away or a call away, and look forward to engaging with you regularly on these kind of forums. Thank you very much for inviting me.